Ted is from Garden River First Nation in Ontario, and he was drafted by and played for the Detroit Red Wings and the Pittsburgh Penguins. He also coached for the Buffalo Sabres and the New York Islanders in the NHL. Now, Ted talks about his story as a coach, but his experience with racism started years prior as a player playing junior hockey at 16 years old.
And it wasn't pretty. I left home when I was 16 year old, for the very first time to try to pursue hockey. And that's when I really, racism really slapped you right in the side of the head and really woke you up to realities. And I cried myself to sleep. And if you see that piece about my younger brother, how emotional he was, it was hard. You know, we just lost my father that year, going to Kenora, playing in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. And him and my older brother, they came to town to watch me play. My first exhibition game, but actually they came to bring me back home because when I did make contact with back home through letters, and I was crying myself to sleep, not liking the game anymore. And so when they came to town to bring me home, I said no. So that was why he was so emotional. But it was a very, very tough year to get through. And tell you the truth, I don't really remember too much about the hockey part.
Now, Nolan was fired from the Buffalo Sabres in part to not playing star player Pat LaFontaine at the request of management. Now, LaFontaine was injured, and Nolan did not want to play him at the cost of even more serious injury occurring. Now, as a result, rumors started circulating about Nolan not listening to management and even drinking at practice, which is why he wanted to set the record straight.
It was really important because a lot of people out there, believe in the rumors and having a perception about who I was and what I did, and especially the drinking at drunk at practice. I mean, how disgusting that is, and people believing it, and to saying that I was a GM killer and I disrespected the. I take direction as well as anybody, but the one thing I won't do is jeopardize someone's life to try to win a hockey game, and that's exactly what happened with Pat LaFontaine. I mean, he was a guy he wasn't right, and so we had a good discussion. He started crying, and now to me, of all the coaching decisions I made in my life, that was probably the best coaching decision I ever made. And maybe it cost me that rumors to say he's a GM killer, he won't listen to management, but people don't know the story. And now they know, with the drinking part, especially with how it relates to our people. Some of the stories that our people had to go through with residential schools and that horrific story. I mean, when I played my first game with the Detroit Red Wings, I still remember walking up those stairs because the dressing room was in the basement. Kind of, you walk up in Chicago Stadium, the big organ, everything was so. I mean, it was incredible, and I remember having tears in my eyes. It wasn't tears of sadness; it was tears of joy, because you're playing. The reason you're playing is a lot of the sacrifices that a lot of our people had to a lot of our people had to go through in order for me to play a simple game. So people don't understand that. So when they say those comments, it's a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more hurtful.
Now, Ted shared with me a story of meeting a young fan in an airport and realizing she knew the reason he was not coaching. Now, he believes if more Indigenous people were in higher level positions, that would translate to more players at higher levels as well.
I think we need more people who look like us in positions of coaching, of management, scouting. So we know it, and I told a story when I was with Rick Westhood for the first time, and I'll try not to be emotional about it, but I think that was one of the stories that I mentioned to him. I was walking through the airport one day. This is 8 years after I was let go by the Sabres. 8 years, and for a young girl, she ran up to me in the airport, and she said, "Hey, coach." And then she wanted to take a picture, and her parents came there, and so we took a picture. And she said, "I know why you're not coaching." And I said, "Why am I not coaching?" He said, "Because your skin is too brown." And I mean, this was a young a young girl, and so how do you reply to that? And you say, no, that's not the reason. There's other reasons, but you just keep believing. So anyways, long story short, I met that young lady when I was coaching New York Islanders. And she said, "I know why you're coaching again, because your skin is brown." So, but it's hurtful. It scars people. So I just think for people to be a little bit more understanding, and we're good people, and and we do have some people with some skill that should be playing the game at a higher level.
Now, I asked Ted what his favorite part of coaching is, and while winning was one of them, it wasn't what he enjoyed most about it. He said it's the relationships with his players and seeing how they grow as people. He also touched on how important the game of hockey is, not just for the sport aspect, but life lessons it can teach as well.
You would think it would be winning championships, but not so much. It's the relationship that you create with your players, and some of the because when I coached, when I played, I felt the coaches always lean towards the star players, and the star players could do no wrong. They could turn the puck over, they could have a giveaway, they could not back check so hard, but they keep playing them. And then as a fourth line guy, third line guy, you turn the puck over one time, I mean, you're done. You don't get to play out there. So I was more of a coach for those guys, and because I was one of them. So so to all the people out there, just be more understanding that. And when it's all said and done, I mean, after all, it's just a game. It really is just a game. And but that game has such a powerful impact on kids' lives in order to pursue other avenues in life. Not everybody's going to be a professional athlete, but they could certainly go to school and learn different professions, and be a reporter on APTN. Be a doctor, be a lawyer. I mean, there's all kinds of. But if the kids don't get to see that, it's hard for them to believe it. So the biggest thing that I got out of it is when I was standing behind a bench. That the kids got to see one of their own.
Now, Ted and his two sons, Jordan and Brandon, also run their own hockey camp primarily in First Nation communities, and they have a clothing line called 3 Nolans. Now, Ted said working with his two boys is the best job he's ever had, and the lessons they teach are a direct result of the experiences they all have faced.
I still remember how this whole thing started back in the day. I created a Anishinaabe hockey school. And we went to different communities, and we did it ever since I played that or coached that first game in Buffalo. And my name started getting out there a little bit more, so I really wanted to give back. So we started the school. And then when I had kids, obviously I couldn't go out as much as I used to. So we kind of let that slide. And then Brandon, he went after his head concussion. He went back to university and got his business degree and so forth. And he started looking at some of the old things. He said, "Hey, Dad, so what do you think about opening up a hockey school? 3 of us, we get to." So I thought, so I had a lot of jobs in my life. But I tell you, this working with my 2 sons is probably the best job I ever had in my entire life. So we started the 3 Nolans. And we go into particularly First Nation communities and have hockey schools of high-end caliber, not just put the kids on the ice, but try to teach them what it really is. And we have a parent session. We talk to the kids and the parents about some of the obstacles that they may face when leaving home. We talk about some of the decisions that they have to make as far as substance abuses and so forth, and nutrition. And I guess the bottom line is about perseverance, about sticking through it. Because both my sons, I remember Brandon, I mean, he was crying himself to sleep, as I did when I was 16, about leaving home, because it's tough leaving home. But if you want to pursue certain things you have to do that. So, and Jordan was the same thing. He cried, but guess what? In the summertime when hockey's all over, we're all back together doing what we do.
And thank you to Ted for taking the time to chat with me. If you would like to see the full feature, The Unwanted Visitor, you can visit the TSN website at tsn.ca.